So, how do you feel about performing?
I love performing. It's my favorite thing to do outside of, regular family kind of stuff or watch the Maple Leafs. I love it. I love getting ready for it. I love showing up, and I love hearing the laughter. I remember doing a gig one time for, it was a cancer charity. And unbeknownst to me, there were a lot of people who were suffering, with cancer and various whatever inside the regular club audience. And someone who must have organized who organized the event sent me letters from people saying that their laughter eased their suffering and changed their whole day. Or people who have problems. I know there are big economic problems in the world now. Everybody's up to their you-know-what in it. But to be able to take people out of their troubles for a little while and get them to laugh hearty, so much so that their face will hurt the next day. You get emails sometimes, my face hurts today, my face hurt the next day, or my intercostal muscles. To know that you injected joy into people's lives and that you get paid for it, which is the most bizarro thing ever. Or that someone says, wow, I want to put you, I love it, I want to make a DVD or stuff, I want to put you on the internet, I want everyone to know about you. To be able to reach the world at a level of laughter and hopefully, doing some good, that's a buzz. It's a feeling of fulfillment.
Damn, you're so wholesome.
Alright, how about this?
I like dirty, randy girls, eh? That's what I like. I like to go to the beach, eh?
Listen, what am I going to tell you? Listen, believe me, I love girls. I love to go to the beach. I love all that stuff. But I'm a married guy now, so I hit the ripcord, man.
I thought you had to be angry to be funny.
No.
Huh?
No. You don't have to be angry to be funny.
You don't have to have a chip on your shoulder like a burning hatred.
Some guys it takes that. There are a lot of comics like that, and that's great for them. And maybe I'll get really angry later, and maybe that'll be another revolution. But, comedy is stages. Look at the Beatles. They have so many different stages in their musical careers. Pretty happy guy right now. As Carlin got much older, he became really unhappy. And if you trace back earlier to AM/FM, FM/AM, he's a happier guy. I hope I stay happy. I hope I just get to, please God, let me just be a happy guy and have a good life. I'll be good with that. I'll take it. Man, I was angry as a kid, and bell curved to a lower middle class Jewish neighborhood. My brother and I had a very tough time, and I've been lucky enough to come out of that. I'm a happy guy. I'm a lucky guy.
So did your dad stay in your life after he left the home?
Yeah, somewhat. Kind of, sort of. Fairly estranged, but I'll always do the right thing. I'll do the commandment thing.
How does he like your work?
Likes it. He's a funny guy. He's got a great sense of humor. Oh yeah, he likes it.
How does he like your joke about him leaving the house?
I don't know if he's ever heard it. He'd laugh at it. He's a realist. I unfortunately I'm fairly estranged. We speak. I'll call him. For Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, on his birthday. I'll do the right thing all the time. I'll always leave the door open. I'm a dad now. Take care of my guys and girl.
Aren't you angry about that?
About my dad leaving? Sure. I discuss it a little bit in the DVD. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, listen, man. I had 100 and who knows how many fights as a kid. And it followed me for a long time. But ultimately, you get to a point in life where you have to accept and move on. Because to sit there and dwell at it is pointless. And I'm just drinking the poison. I don't want to do that. I had enough of that. I had enough of that earlier on in my life.
Did you go through a stage where you hated rabbis? I mean, it sounds like a lot of the rabbis you had as teachers were not lovable types.
They were great guys. I was the schmo. Believe me. Some of the guys were a little bit, dippy, and a lot of it was because they were from a different culture. But at the end of the day, their message was a good one. It was my inability to accept it. Not them. Occasionally there was a schmo. There was the occasional schmo. But for the most part, they were good guys. It was me. I was sandpaper. My fault. I'll cop to that right away.
So where are you heading in your career? What's next for you?
We'll be touring, doing a new set, new show, and please God, new DVD. I'd like to get some TV and some film now. What I do is pretty unique, you know. There's no other. I don't know of any other DVD out there that's kosher and not kosher. You know, thankfully, I still do a lot of voice and television and cartoon work, and I've got a screenplay that the NHL signed on to. I've got my stand-up, and I've got a teleplay. I've got a great idea for a series, for a TV series, and that's what I really like to do now. I'd like to do like some television, some film, and continue doing stand-up, tour with it. I like to go all over with it. And then come back and talk to you about it.
Do you have a philosophy of humor, for instance? I, who do not make my living being funny, have a philosophy of humor, and I'm going to tell you about it.
Let's hear it.
I read this great book called The Dynamics of Sexual Excitement by a UCLA psychiatrist named Robert Stoller.
Mhm.
He's now dead, but in his book he says that the dynamic, the driving force of sexual desire is the desire to sin, to objectify, to use the other, and to kind of do something dirty to them. And he said humor's the same way, that in every joke there's a victim, and that the humor is like
No.
hostility disguised.
I don't buy that. I don't buy it sexually or from a comedy point of view. I think that, yeah, of course, you know, it exists, you know, in sexuality, the concept of defiling, you know, and getting off on it. And you can do it sometimes, but...
You don't think that's the driving force of sexual desire? Particularly from that.
Hang on a second. I have to reach into my memory right now. Let me think about the last time I orgasmed. What was going through my mind? Oh yeah, I remember. Hope the kids stay sleeping. I know what it is. Hope I don't yell the wrong name. You know, there might be a hint of truth to what you just said. Your Honor, I wish to be able to recall the witness. There's some of that, but it's not it isn't the driving force of sexuality. And there may be some of that in humor, but it's not the driving force in humor. There are elements to it, but I don't think that that's the engine. I think it might be, how about this? This is fair to say. It's 2 of the 8 pistons. How's that? That's probably real. I think it's real. You know what? And now I'm gonna tell you something else. I think when you're married, it's very different than when you're not. I think when you're single, there's a lot more of what you say, both in terms of comedy and in terms of sexuality. But I think they both come from a place of loving your life. If you love your life more, I think you're a lot less angry. So your sexuality comes from less of a point of anger, and your comedy comes from more of a point of sharing.
Mike, to the extent that I'm funny, it came out of a desire to want to say the hostile, savage thing that I wanted to say and yet not get hit. And so I learned to disguise what I was saying, tone, and what I said. So I'll give you an example. Last night I was at a yoga class, and it was led by a guru, and afterwards I wanted to discuss some of the things that he'd said with other people and get their feedback, and then when they'd given me their feedback, they asked me for mine. What was my view of what the guru had taught that night?
Right.
And I thought that much of what he'd said was horrible. But I was in a context where everybody loves the guru.
Right.
It would be totally inappropriate and wouldn't even work
Right.
to tell people what I thought. So I said I thought the guru was out of this world. And to everyone who heard that, they thought I was complimenting him. I was saying that he was nuts.
Right. Okay. So, first of all, good choice of words. If you wanted to get a laugh on it, though,